is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's Wednesday, August 12th, and right now on Good Morning Indiana.
Our students have, that equal opportunity that every child deserves.
Only on RTV6, connecting kids with computers. For the first time ever, IPS providing devices to all students as the district begins the new school year with remote learning.
The roar of Indy cars will be heard once again as practice for the 104th running of the Indy 500 begins this morning. Our Alyssa Donovan is live at the track where things will be very different this year.
As vice president, I think it would be wonderful to have a woman or a person of color as vice president.
Joe Biden has tapped Senator Kamala Harris to be his running mate. This morning, we're taking a closer look at this historic decision. We're back here at home. It is 6 o'clock, and we want to thank you for joining our team here on Good Morning Indiana this Wednesday. We're at the halfway point in our work week, so I want to thank you for joining us. Raphael, good morning to you down in Franklin.
Lauren, good morning to you. If you step outside, it feels so comfortable. So Todd Clausen, I'm going to make this offer one more time. You guys pick the place. I will pay. We can eat anywhere you want.
Oh.
Mooresville, Shelbyville, Fishers, Franklin, Greenwood, Avon. They all have great places to eat, right? You pick it, I'll pay. Come on.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
I'm in. We'll start making the list right now, Raphael. So thank you for that. Maybe we should go to Charlie Brown's there in Speedway because it starts today. Practice for the 500, and that's where I'm starting you off with our tower cam view this morning as well, looking from the pagoda at IMS back towards downtown Indianapolis, and it's a beautiful shot of the city skyline. Still waiting for the sun to start to brighten the sky. Sunrise now, not until 6:55 here this morning, but for the first practice session for the 500. They should be in good shape there at IMS today. 60s across the board with the exception of 270s there down to the south in Sullivan and Bedford. Lauren mentioned the humidity. It's down this morning. It's pretty comfortable for us. And you notice the clouds are in place though, so it'll be a mostly cloudy start for us today. And then further down to the south, you notice a few showers. It's not out of the question. A shower or two could sneak into southern locations here in central Indiana here this morning or early this afternoon. But overall, most of us will be dry. Even if you see that shower, it's not going to last very long. Temperatures today, Lauren, very seasonable, climbing into the low 80s.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic. If you are heading out the door at this early hour to our west or northwest, rather, this is I-65 here in State Road 267. We did have some construction that just wrapped up earlier, and you can still see some flashing lights, some vehicles there leaving the scene. But if you look on the right side of your screen, you can see some flashing lights. We have a disabled vehicle there off on the shoulder of the ramp system, the on-ramp to getting on I-65. Doesn't look to be slowing down traffic too much. Traffic is picking up, and you can tell that by all the headlights moving across your screen. We will continue to keep a close eye on this and let you know if there are any crashes or delays. We do want to begin this morning with Joe Biden's historic decision for his running mate. The presumptive Democratic presidential nominee has tapped California Senator Kamala Harris to be his running mate.
And Lauren, Harris is the first African-American vice presidential nominee for any major party and the highest-ranking Asian American in U.S. history. ABC's Ines Lequatera reports on this political pair.
From rivals to running mates, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris set to hold their first event together in Delaware today, just hours after Biden called the California senator over video chat and asked her to be his vice president.
Kamala Harris!
The former vice president previously saying he was looking for his own Joe Biden and that trust would be key.
One of the things I learned is that no president in the 21st century can handle the job all by themselves. It's just too much that lands on your plate.
Harris becoming the first Black and Asian American woman on a major party's ticket. Analysts say Harris's experience campaigning, winning multiple statewide races, also differentiated her from the other VP contenders. But they also say Harris's pro-police track record as a prosecutor could be a liability. And it wasn't so long ago that Harris was Biden's fierce opponent, blasting Biden at the first primary debate for opposing busing policies in the 1970s.
It's a mischaracterization of my position across the board. I did not praise racist. That is not true.
Do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No.
Do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America.
President Trump Tuesday pouncing, even though records show before he was president, he and daughter Ivanka actually contributed to Harris's campaigns in California.
She was very, very nasty to one of the reasons that surprised me. She was very disrespectful to Joe Biden.
And Harris is now set to use those debate skills when she comes face to face with Vice President Pence at the vice presidential debate in 8 weeks. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, Washington.
Our Democracy 2020 coverage continues now. Vice President Mike Pence welcomed Harris to the race during a campaign stop in Arizona. Mr. Pence congratulated Harris on her nomination, but was quick to criticize her position on several issues. He also worked really quick to cast her as being part of what he called the radical left.
I mean, we all know, look, Joe Biden and the Democratic Party have been overtaken by the radical left. So given their promises of higher taxes, open borders, socialized medicine, and abortion on demand, it's no surprise that he chose Senator Harris to be his running mate.
Harris has not responded to Pence's remarks. The two are set to square off for their only debate in October in Utah. This morning, only on RTV6, IPS spending an extra $4 million to make sure their students are ready for remote learning coming up in just a couple of days. What began as a $12 million investment in technology is now up to $16.5 million as the first day of school begins at home on Monday.
Divine to get a laptop. David gets a tablet. He'll lose charger.
These stacks of boxes are ready to go. Every student at James Russell Lowell School 51 is getting an iPad or Chromebook to begin the school year. Everyone will be equally equipped with an electronic device that is key to the education of 300 students in this school alone.
Providing them with the tools they need to learn and the tools they need to compete with, the bigger world is a key component to all this, and I think that that's very exciting, and I think that the staff and I think the students are all very excited about the opportunity.
When schools closed in March, nearly half the students, about 150 kids, depended on paper packets because they had no access to technology. The other half had some access, which may have included a cell phone. Third grader Madison Balwinski is looking forward to her Chromebook.
It's really hard to see stuff on the phone. It's going to help because it has more bigger screen and it's going to show bigger pictures.
Second grader David and sixth grader Divine Corey are brothers, but they had to share their father's phone, which he needed for work, and that created many challenges.
That's kind of hard to do all the schoolwork.
And it's always a problem for me because each time I have somebody calling me to get it from them, it's always difficult.
Right, because they were trying to do work.
Yes.
So not everyone has internet connection. So the district is providing these hotspots to allow students to connect their iPad or their Chromebook to their schoolwork. So it's more than just a box. It's a tool to close the digital divide and keep kids on track in this age of COVID-19. And before any devices leaves a school, the staff checks it out to make sure that it's working properly. IPS has already spent as well an extra $1.2 million on PPE for students and staff. Classes again begin on Monday at home. And tomorrow night, IPS will host a virtual meeting titled Introduction to IPS Remote Learning, What Families Should Expect. The meeting will allow families and members of the community to learn more about the district's remote learning plan, as well as answer any questions. This will be at 5 p.m. and available via Zoom, and will also be live streamed on the IPS Facebook page. Lauren?
Raphael, it is 6:09 and silent no more. The famed oval on the west side of Indianapolis reopens to the roar of engines. Today, practice begins at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and our own Alyssa Donovan joins us live from out there with all the details. Hey, Alyssa.
Good morning, Lauren. Well, things are going to be very different at the Speedway this year when it comes to the 500 and the weeks leading up to that. I spoke with one business owner who says she feels the decision is for the better for the entire community of Speedway. Just on Main Street, Charlie Brown's is open for business with safety measures in place. While they're typically busy race weekend and the weeks leading up to the 500, owner Elizabeth Glover, or Lizzie B, says they're always going to be doing good, or they always do good business rather. And with coronavirus concerns, she sees the decision Penske made as the right one, as it helps keep residents safe from big crowds coming into Speedway. Glover says the decision to eliminate fans completely from the 500 this year comes as a bit of a relief to her.
I think he has protected Speedway from some problems. He has protected our town, and we should thank him, not complain about him.
In fact, Glover is doing so well that she's working on opening a second location. And today, you'll hear that practice is starting at 11 a.m. And when I say you'll hear it, I mean when you drive by, you'll be able to hear that familiar roar of the engines, even though you won't be able to go inside. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. And let's take a look at the rest of the schedule for practice. It continues at 11 a.m. again Thursday and Friday of this week. Qualifying for the field of 33 is Saturday. That starts at 11 a.m. as well. On Sunday, the top 9 come back to battle it out for the pole position. Our live trackside coverage starts today on the news at noon. Raphael?
Lauren, some colleges spending money on lobbyists to help ease their financial burdens during this pandemic. After the break, why they say you have to spend money to make money. But first, let's check your local forecast with our very own Todd Clausen. Good morning, TK.
Raphael, good morning to you. If you're thinking about walking out the door this morning to exercise, you're in good shape. If you have to wait to this afternoon, you're in decent shape as well. It will be a very seasonable day today with no real alerts for you in the forecast as far as working out. So we'll dive into this forecast in detail, talk temperatures, and when some thunderstorms do return to central Indiana coming up in Maine weather when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on RTV6.
The time right now is 6:14 this morning. Call 6 Investigates is digging into why some colleges and universities are spending money on lobbyists, even amid the COVID-19 financial woes.
And Lauren, the Rebound Indiana is our commitment here at WRTV to help you get through the pandemic and to hold those people accountable who use federal dollars. Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenny explains why some schools say you have to spend money to get money from Washington, D.C.
When COVID-19 hit in March, colleges and universities in Indiana went to virtual-only instruction. That hurt enrollment at institutions like Ivy Tech Community College.
Students who did not want to continue virtually did drop out when they might not have otherwise done so.
But unlike other colleges and universities, Ivy Tech is a commuter campus that doesn't get revenue from sports, student housing, or meal plans. Call 6 Investigates partnered with Newsy to review congressional records and found Ivy Tech is the only Indiana higher ed institution that's paid a lobbyist to fight for more coronavirus emergency aid. Records show so far this year, Ivy Tech paid $20,000, a tiny fraction of its overall budget, to the law firm Krieg DeVault. Also, unlike many other Indiana colleges and universities, Ivy Tech has only one person devoted to government relations, Mary Jane Michalak.
I handle state government relations as well as federal government relations. And so we do hire an external firm to help me because I can't be in D.C. all the time.
Michalak and their lobbyists talked to congressional leaders about the CARES Act and urged them to make sure Ivy Tech was included in any future stimulus packages.
We are concerned about the federal government providing relief for students. We want to make sure that there is enough money there to provide workforce and training programs to individuals so that we can get people back to work.
Ivy Tech received $33 million in federal CARES Act money, $16 million for students. Most of it's already been distributed. Some students received computers to help them do classes virtually, like mom and Ivy Tech student Valerie Famoyua, who got $4,000.
It was a major help for me. I wasn't expecting to get that much. And because of that relief that I had, I was able to finish my summer semester with all A's.
Ivy Tech is not alone. Congressional filings reviewed by our partners at Newsy show 80 schools, big and small, private and public, paid lobbyists to work on COVID-related issues in the nation's capital. Ivy Tech has instituted a salary freeze for its staff, but the college says it's financially stable for now.
It's the students who attend colleges and universities that we need to be concerned about. Colleges and universities are here to serve the people of Indiana, and we need to make sure that our Hoosiers are taken care of.
Kara Kenny, RTV6.
All right, thank you so much there, Kara. As you go out the door this morning and get your Wednesday started, you're walking out to pretty decent conditions here. The humidity's not that high. Temperatures are pretty comfortable. And here's the view, at least from IMS, looking towards downtown Indianapolis and beyond, off towards the east. And there is some cloud cover. I just went outside my house in downtown Indianapolis, and I could see the moon nice and bright. So a little clearer in downtown, but off to the east there you see the cloud cover that's in place. 68 degrees, that's the current temperature. The wind not strong, but it's that northeasterly direction that helped to knock the humidity down. You felt that change occur from yesterday afternoon into the evening hours. It got a lot more comfortable, and everybody now, with the exception of Sullivan, is in the 60s. 69 in Bloomington and Bedford, a little cooler to the north. Look at that up in Tipton and Peru. You're down to 62 degrees, so very, very comfortable. And here's the high thin cloud cover that's out there. It looks a little worse on the satellite radar picture than it actually is. It's not the solid overcast sky that you would expect if we had a big storm moving through. So the sun should be able to get through the clouds at times throughout the day today. And we'll keep an eye on a few of these showers for you that are down across parts of Paducah, Kentucky. These will start to make their way towards southern portions of central Indiana as we go throughout the course of the day. When they arrive, if you do see one of these showers, it's going to be very, very light. And north of Indianapolis, I really don't think you have to worry about the shower threat in the forecast for the day today. And once we get into the afternoon and evening hours, we will start to see improvement in the sky cover, at least, as we'll go from partly sunny to partly cloudy in the afternoon hours. And that just means a decrease in cloud cover. So this morning, as we go throughout the course of the day, we'll have temperatures in the 70s and then eventually around 80 degrees by 1 p.m. And as we transition into the afternoon hours, temperatures climb up into the low 80s, so it should be great for all the drivers there at IMS this evening. If you have plans maybe for dinner out on the patio or something like that, temperatures will fall back down into the 70s. Sunset at 8:45 here this evening. Going forward in this forecast, tomorrow, a really nice day for us. Partly to mostly sunny skies tomorrow, about 84 to 85. Your high temperature on Thursday, very seasonable. Storms arrive in the forecast on Friday and Saturday. It's a little unsettled for those 2 days, but once the front goes through on Sunday, great stretch of weather Monday, Tuesday, and even Wednesday of next week with lots of sunshine. And look at those temperatures, 50s for overnight lows with highs that'll eventually be in the mid-70s. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now for your commute. This is I-465 and West 46th Street over on the west side of town, where you can see by all the headlights moving across your screen, traffic is traveling up to speed, both northbound and southbound there on the interstate. Right now, no crashes to report around the metro area. Great news as you're heading out the door this Wednesday morning.
So Google Maps is returning to Apple Watch. The return comes 3 years after the search engine pulled the app from its wearable watch. The new app includes step-by-step directions and estimated arrival times. Google says with the app, people can easily get around by car, bike, or foot. It will be available to download in the coming weeks. Now, this time around, Maps is a standalone app available in the Apple Watch App Store. That's a change from its previous version when iPhone users had to download the Google Maps app on their phone and then use it as an extension of their watch.
Well, a group of Southern Indiana teachers went above and beyond to make sure their students received a warm welcome back to school. Their kind gesture coming up in today's Trending 6.
And coming up on Good Morning America, the incredible story of Kai Bailey, who survived after an SUV crashed into the ER of an Atlanta hospital. That story coming up right here on RTV6. But first, good morning to you, to Bloomington, Bedford, and Brownsburg, some great places to call home. You're watching Good Morning Indiana this morning. Look at that sunrise right here in Indianapolis, right here on RTV6.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:24 on our Wednesday. Raphael, it's time to talk about what is trending at 6.
So, Lauren, there may be a future for the official RTV6 newsroom, living room, once we stop social distancing. I think this is going to give me an idea of what to do with this space when I get to come back to work with you in Studio A. So, the world's last blockbuster is turning into an Airbnb temporarily. Residents of Bend, Oregon, where the store is located, have had the chance to stay overnight getting a true 90s experience, just like my living room. The store has been converted into a makeshift living room, complete with a pull-out couch, a 90s era chunky big screen TV, a VCR, and of course, the 90s decor. All you have to do, of course, in that store, all the videos are at your disposal, and you also get this, free pizza, soda, popcorn, and candy, and that is not included in this living room. The manager says this is a big thank you to the community for keeping the store in business.
Well, we'll check with your family on that, Raphael. They may enjoy having some visitors. Well, some teachers here in southern Indiana went above and beyond to make sure that their students feel at ease as the school year begins. Oakdale Elementary teachers held a drive-by meet and greet. They dropped off goodie bags and paperwork to all of their students' homes to get them ready for the school year. Some teachers had up to 40 stops to make, but they say it was well worth it. Students at Oakdale Elementary are set to return to class today, and we wish them all the very best.
We love all of our educators across our state, and a big good morning to Susie Bright. Susie is our hometown hero on this Wednesday. She's an essential worker, and so she could not stay home during the pandemic as she works for county government. So we thank her for her service and all those who serve every day across Indiana. Time now to check your forecast with our very own Todd Clausen. And Todd, it feels really good outside.
You know, it really does. I encourage you to get out there and go for a walk here this morning, if possible for you. The humidity is low, the temperatures are comfortable, and the sun now starting to brighten the sky here across central Indiana. Here's a live look from IMS, where it should be a great first day of practice for all the drivers. You're looking off towards the east, and you do notice there is some cloud cover that is out there, but the city skyline looking really nice here this Wednesday morning. Temperatures are sitting in the 60s. It's fairly comfortable with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Should be up into the 70s by 10 a.m. and by this afternoon, we'll thin those clouds out and we'll turn it partly sunny across the area. And with that added sunshine, temperatures will moderate pretty quickly as we get into the afternoon hours to very seasonable highs for this time of year, as we'll be getting up into the low to mid 80s.
Todd, thank you. Disney's live-action Mulan remake is finally coming out next month, just not in theaters, but it's going to cost you just as much to see it. Consumer reporter John Matarese takes a look at what this could mean for the future of movies so you don't waste your money.
As COVID keeps moviegoers out of theaters, Disney's decided it's waited long enough and will release its Mulan movie streaming. But it won't be cheap, and that sets a precedent for future releases. After months of delays, Disney's new live-action Mulan is coming to streaming TV on September 4th. But some Disney fans were stunned to learn it'll cost $30 to unlock the movie, on top of Disney Plus's $7 monthly fee. This is a sharp departure from the Netflix model, where once you join, everything is free, even original new content. Even Hamilton was free to Disney Plus members. But Disney could lose $100 million offering Mulan free to subscribers, so it's testing the waters with a new pay-to-view model. And at $30, it's still cheaper than taking the whole family to the theater. But from the Does That Stink file, the chance other streaming services start following Disney's lead and charging additional fees for new content. What if you have to pay $30 for the next Netflix series or $20 for a new Hulu movie? Your monthly streaming bill will quickly get a lot higher, and that stinks. If the Mulan release is a success, expect more streaming blockbusters in the months to come. You decide. It's a case of don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's Wednesday morning, and this is your 6:30 news feed. New this morning, 7 people recovering following a crash in Newcastle. Police say a pickup was driving without lights northbound on 16th Street when it crashed into an SUV. The driver of the SUV was flown to an Indianapolis hospital. The driver of the truck and the 5 kids inside were treated at the hospital and released.
Businesses not following the Marion County mask mandate will now be slapped with a fine. Marion County health officials say the decision follows 3 businesses not following the orders over the weekend. Businesses not following the mandate will face that $1,000 per day fine. Businesses could also face being shut down if changes are not made.
The Big Ten announcing it's postponing the entire fall sports season, as well as championships and tournaments. That includes the football title game scheduled for Lucas Oil Stadium in December. The conference is considering the possibility of competing in the spring. Both IU and Purdue student athletes in several sports are impacted by this decision.
Well, things start to rev up this morning at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The 2020 pace car will be unveiled at 10 o'clock this morning at the Pagoda Plaza. This is video from last year's unveiling. And then later, the drivers will take to the track for the first practice leading up to next Sunday's race. That's on August 23rd.
And of course, Lauren, we are all looking forward to hearing the roar of the engines. And if you step outside, you will also appreciate that it's less humid when you step outside your front door.
Yeah, Raphael, I think we all appreciate a little lower humidity here for our hair, just for our comfort levels. And
That's right.
Todd, yeah, of course. And Todd, what can we expect for our Wednesday forecast?
You know, it's not a bad day. It's going to be a little on the cloudy side at times throughout the day today, but eventually I do think the sun will win out here, Lauren, making for a pretty nice Wednesday. And temperature-wise, as you mentioned, it's not bad this morning, and the humidity is fairly low. So Raphael and I don't have to worry about the hair as much as you do, but if you say so, we'll try to keep the humidity low. The view from IMS shows a little bit of cloud cover as you look east past downtown Indianapolis. Temperatures this morning, 68 in Indy, 69 in Bloomington, 60 is the current temperature up in Marion. So some of you in northern portions of central Indiana could be in the upper 50s here this morning. Looks like more cloud cover than it is on the satellite radar picture as far as showers. There's a couple in southern Illinois. A few of those could sneak into far southern Indiana here throughout the day today, but the overall trend will be from partly sunny skies to going partly cloudy. So more in the way of sunshine as we get into the afternoon and evening hours with high temperatures in the low 80s. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the road. This is I-465 and I-65, the interchange down there on the south side. We did have a report of some road maintenance happening in the northbound left lane. Everything right now is back open, though. Just be aware as you're traveling northbound through this area and you're getting closer to Keystone Avenue, we have an active construction zone there that is ongoing on that bridge project. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated on any crashes or delays for your Wednesday morning commute. Raphael?
And more central Indiana school districts trying to figure out how to deal with COVID-19 cases in their schools and how to respond. In Delaware County, 228 students have been instructed to quarantine. As a result, Delta Middle and High School will move now to e-learning. The change starts this morning and will run all the way through at least August the 24th. Students in the district's elementary schools will continue in-person classes. Now on Friday, school officials announced a football player at the high school tested positive for the coronavirus. This morning, that remains the only confirmed case at this time.
And Raphael, in Boone County, Zionsville Community Schools will hold their second day of in-person classes today, but not all the students will be returning this week. 8th graders at Zionsville Middle School will not return to class until next week. School officials say the students may have been exposed to COVID-19 before the school year even started. This morning, district leaders are not releasing the details about the possible exposure.
We don't want a child to think that they've caused things for their team or for their cohort of 8th graders. No one child caused anything to happen. This is a global pandemic, and we should handle it as positively and as discreetly as we can.
Officials there say their COVID task force helped to make that decision. The group formed in March, and it includes 8 district employees who work in the central operations, 8 school principals, and community volunteers, including an immunologist and an epidemiologist. Some Zionsville parents say that they take comfort in knowing that the team is helping to guide them through this difficult process.
Yeah, I think they're doing their best with the information they have. They've got extensive plans. Lots of brains were definitely put together to come up with some good plans.
Well, the superintendent tells us that the experts on the task force do not have kids in the school district that know each other, and so that's to help ensure the group is objective. The group meets regularly and is in constant communication. So we've compiled a list of all the central Indiana school districts reporting COVID-19 cases. You can find our database on our website. Just go to the indychannel.com.
Covering more education, and new this morning, IPS spending more money to make sure their kids have the computers that they need for remote learning, which begins on Monday. The district now investing $16.5 million on iPads that will go to kids in grades pre-K through second grade, on Chromebooks for kids in third grade through high school. The extra $4.5 million on technology also includes mobile hotspots units, which are needed to be ready for the start of remote learning on Monday.
Cars will roar around the historic oval at IMS starting today, but there will be no fans in the stands. Coming up, how the lack of fans could impact businesses sitting next door to the world's largest sporting venue.
Plus, the Biden campaign making history on Tuesday with the Kamala Harris being named as the first black VP running mate. Coming up in just 6 minutes, I'll talk to Indiana's first female lieutenant governor about the significance of the announcement. That and much more coming up right here on Good Morning, Indiana. That is one great sound. In just a few hours, race fans will finally get to hear Indy cars roaring around the historic oval at 16th and Georgetown Road. Drivers will take to the track for the first official practice leading up to the greatest spectacle in racing. And Lauren, getting to this point has been really bumpy. A bumpy road for both IndyCar, its drivers, and of course, all the fans.
Oh, that's right, Raphael. So this morning, let's take a look at the makings of what will be a race for the history books. Back on March 26th, IMS officials announced that the events taking place at the track during the month of May would be moved. The 104th Indianapolis 500 would be run on August 23rd, the first time in the race's history that drivers won't see the green flag wave on Memorial Day weekend. 3 months later, on June 26th, IMS officials announced that the world's largest sporting venue would only seat 50% of its capacity. The move still allows more than 100,000 ticket holders to watch the greatest spectacle in racing. And then less than a month later, on July 21st, the crowd size reduced yet again, this time to 25%. Even with a little more than 87,000 fans, the race would be the largest event in North America since the start of this pandemic. But as the coronavirus cases continue to rise in Indiana, track officials were forced to make the tough decision that race fans did not want to hear. Last Wednesday, the track officials announced that this year's race, the first under new track owner Roger Penske, would be run without fans.
And so businesses that line the speedways at Main Street, they depend on fans from across the world really to go from the track to their dining rooms. Alyssa Donovan is live this morning. And Alyssa, what are business owners telling you? And I know that you visited one of my favorite places there in Speedway.
Yeah, and you know what? Charlie Brown's was very popular yesterday when I went in there. Of course, they are adhering to social distancing guidelines, but I spoke with the business owner there, and she said she's actually happy about the changes that have been made. She thinks the precautions are a good thing, not only for her business, but for all of Speedway and the entire community. Elizabeth Glover owns Charlie Brown's, which has been in business since Speedway close to 50 years. Glover says race weekend and the weeks leading up to it are always exciting and great for her bottom line, with people lined up out the door. She says she's lucky, though. Her restaurant is popular year-round, so she's not that worried about losing business due to lack of fans coming in for the 500. She feels there will still be some activity driving customers into her place.
I do think that there will be things going on. I think people will be walking the streets. I know that I'll be busy, probably, but I'm not going to let myself get too busy. You know, I'm going to follow the rules.
Glover is taking COVID-19 concerns seriously with precautions for wait staff and customers. She sees the choice to eliminate fans as one that was made to help keep Speedway safe. And this morning's practice starts at 11 a.m. And while you cannot go inside, at least when you drive by, you'll be able to hear that familiar roar of the engines. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. The time right now is 6:41 on our Wednesday. This morning, November's presidential ballot appears to be set. Presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden has selected California Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate. His decision comes months after he committed to picking a woman to join him on the ticket. 55-year-old Harris, a former presidential candidate, is the first black woman to join a major party ticket. The two are expected to make an appearance together in Wilmington, Delaware later today.
Only on RTV6, our state's first ever female lieutenant governor, Kathy Davis, is reflecting on the nomination of Kamala Harris. Ms. Davis spoke to us from her Indianapolis home. You were the first female lieutenant governor in our state's history, serving with the late Joe Kernan. And later today, we will hear from Kamala Harris. She will be the first African-American female vice presidential nominee for a major party, in this case, for the Democratic Party. What does this moment mean?
It means we've arrived at a new place, and I think it will, of course, be even bigger once she's elected and she's serving as the vice president. We're seizing the moment, and Joe Biden is seizing a moment. And I think in this time when we've, thought we knew about racial inequity and then have watched the disparity in deaths from COVID-19 and then the murder of George Floyd by a man while being videotaped, I think there's just such a recognition of the urgency of making change, of ending racial disparity. And I think this is, a wonderful, hopeful symbol of that.
Kathy Davis served as lieutenant governor for the late Democratic governor Joe Kernan from October 2003 all the way through January 2005. And since then, 2 Republican women have served as lieutenant governors, including Becky Skillman and currently Suzanne Crouch. The state has yet to elect a woman to the governor's office.
The coronavirus continues to have a number of unknowns, with one of the biggest being its impact on children. Coming up, how a do-it-yourself test could provide some answers to the unknown. Todd.
And Lauren, it's been a little unsettled here across central Indiana with the severe weather on Monday, and then yesterday a few isolated storms to the south, taking the rain chances for the most part out of the forecast for today and tomorrow before they return heading into Friday and the weekend. Although the rain chances only still in that slight category for Friday and Saturday. We'll dive into your extended forecast in more detail coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on RTV6.
Welcome back. Indiana is seeing an increase in daily reported deaths from the virus. The latest numbers from the State Department of Health confirming 25 new deaths. Since the pandemic began, nearly 2,900 Hoosiers have died from COVID-19. On Tuesday, health officials also reported 884 new cases of the coronavirus. Since the pandemic began, nearly 76,000 Hoosiers have been tested positive for the virus.
So, Lauren, one of the biggest COVID unknowns has to do with how children pass the virus and then how they show those symptoms. Vanderbilt University is leading a study to try to find out more answers on those 2 big issues. They're also looking at how the virus impacts kids with asthma and allergies. Vanderbilt is sending families at-home virus testing kits to do this. The families then send back swabs and blood samples of children and caregivers in the home. Now, researchers hope it can provide some clarity about conflicting research on children and COVID-19. In the long run, the information could be useful for opening schools across the country.
Take a book, return a book. A little free library has arrived at Zionsville Town Hall. The town of Zionsville installed a train-themed little free library in the plaza just off the Big 4 rail trail. 2 local residents built a library, their latest installment of similar structures they've built and installed all around Boone County. It will be stocked with a variety of books for children and adults. A hand washing station will be placed near the Little Free Library for those who are handling the books. And Todd, you see the trail there right behind them. Maybe a good morning to get out and go for a walk because you're saying the humidity is a lot lower than the past few days.
Yeah, you know, any trail, any neighborhood here in central Indiana this morning, a good place to take a walk or maybe a bike ride. And if you can't do it this morning, I think you're in great shape later on this afternoon as well. Obviously, just going to be a little bit warmer for you later on today. Right now, we are sitting in the 60s in all locations. Right at 62 in Peru as well as Tipton, 68 in Indianapolis, 69 is the current temperature in Bedford. There are a couple 50s in northern locations there. So on the cool side this morning, as you look from IMS past downtown Indianapolis off towards the east, you see some cloud cover. You see a little bit of haze out there. And overall, I think it's probably mostly cloudy this morning compared to partly cloudy, but there is some sunshine to start our day. And as the day goes on, I do think we'll start to work more sunshine into the forecast as we get into the afternoon hours. As far as your hour-by-hour temperature breakdown, 60s here for the next couple hours, should be into the mid 70s by about 10 a.m. and then into the low to mid 80s as we head into the evening hours, with high temperatures getting up to right around 84, 85 degrees. So that is seasonable for this time of year. Temperature's not an issue. Let's talk about the cloud cover. You see it on your satellite radar picture. What you do not see is any green or other colors for that matter. So there's no precipitation out there this morning, and that is certainly good news. But as we expand out, you do notice some scattered showers in southern Illinois and parts of Paducah, Kentucky. And some of these showers are going to start to try to head in our direction, but they're going to be running into drier air and that northeasterly breeze. Even though that the wind isn't very strong, that northeasterly wind is a drier wind direction. That'll help to dry up some of this precipitation. And you notice on TrueCast, there it is. You see the very light green. It's probably nothing more than a quick passing shower or sprinkle, and that is just about it. Now, going forward in this forecast this evening, we'll start to clear things out a little bit more, and that's why I think as we get further throughout the day, there's a better chance of more widespread sunshine across the area. But don't get me wrong, it's still a very, very decent day for us here across the area. This evening, temperatures fall back down into the 70s with sunset at 8:45. Tomorrow, as we go throughout the course of the day, plenty of sunshine and high temperatures back up into the mid 80s. Thursday, even a better day than today, and take advantage of that because on Friday we start to bring in the chance of some storms, 85 degrees, so still seasonable. And then for Saturday, it's warm, it's muggy, some scattered storms around for qualifications as we go into the weekend. And on Sunday, a cold front's going to come through. And you notice the temperature a little bit cooler on Sunday at 83 degrees. But then look at the temperatures Monday and Tuesday of next week. By the time we get to Tuesday and potentially Wednesday, low temperatures in the 50s overnight. Great sleeping weather with high temperatures that'll be in the mid 70s. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic here on the north side of town. This is a live look at I-465 and Keystone Avenue. You can see traffic is picking up there, getting on and off the interstate. Everything's moving along smoothly. No crashes right now around the metro area to slow down your commute. However, we are following some breaking news at this hour. One person is dead after a shooting this morning on the west side of Indianapolis. Metro Police say they were called out to Muller Road near West 42nd Street, and that's where they found a man dead from a gunshot wound. Homicide detectives are still at the scene right now. That is about all we know, but we are working to find out more information for you, and we'll give it to you as soon as it comes into our newsroom. Raphael.
We'll keep on top of that breaking news story, but first let's take a turn. Let's go to Australia, very far away, and they did not let beer go to waste when the bars closed down under. One city has turned unsold stale beer, get this, into a renewable energy. So far, millions of liters of bad beer have been converted into powering a water treatment plant. The plant had already been running on other waste products, but increased its power output thanks to some good old beer. The production manager says enough to power 1,200 houses.
Well, there you go. Coming up here on Good Morning America, the incredible story of survival from a woman whose SUV slammed into an Atlanta emergency room.
A soon-to-be first grader giving her community a serving of hope in just 2 minutes. Her heartwarming idea to help the homeless. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
Welcome back. So as news of the deadly coronavirus and racial tensions still the headlines, Raphael, more and more people are searching for news that offers hope.
So let's head west on I-70 because I want you to meet this sixth grader from St. Louis, Missouri, who is spreading all kinds of hope in a fantastic way. Paris Williams will be starting the first grade in just a few weeks. Now, Paris was reading a book about a young boy who was helping the homeless. That's when she decided she wanted to help out. So Paris and her mother came up with the idea to send care packages to the homeless.
I kind of wanted to give some food to the homeless, like the boy in the book.
Paris has even started a fundraiser selling T-shirts and masks to help raise money for her very own non-for-profit organization. Goes to show that the power of one is powerful. Paris, well done.
That is awesome. There's some good news for our Wednesday. And Todd, we're hoping for some more good news in our Wednesday forecast.
You know, and I think we have decent news in the forecast, at least for today. We'll have partly cloudy skies this afternoon, a little bit of cloud cover to start the day here, and temperatures that eventually climb up into the mid-80s. Tomorrow's a great day, 85 degrees with partly cloudy skies. A little unsettled Friday and Saturday with storms returning to the forecast. And then once the front goes through on Sunday, a beautiful stretch of weather for mid-August arrives next week with low temperatures in the 50s and high temperatures that'll be in the mid-70s on Tuesday and potentially Wednesday as well.
All right, Todd, thanks so much, and thank you for joining us. We're back here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic updates. Have a great Wednesday.